So, with our future tax increases bumping its head on our Act 1 cap, correct? How are we going to finance and expand curriculum, address security concerns at our existing buildings, perform regular maintenance on these buildings, grow faculty, or maintain extracurricular activities? So these are some questions that I have. Like, where are we going to get the money to do this, to progress as a school body in its entirety, not just 6th, 7th, and 8th grade? These expenses are difficult to measure, and with a large allocations of funds on a new building, does it put them at risk? I think that's a fair question. I used the plus symbol here because I didn't have a number to quantify it, but it was some of the things that I broke down from my time spending in the classroom. At the Act 34 meeting, I asked specifically about the Jefferson Street Library because I spent a lot of time in a new building that they didn't make proper allocations for their library, and it was oftentimes disheartening when you would walk into a room full of empty shelves. And they expressed they had a plan to do some book sharing. And I can definitely see how that's possible because your kindergartner's not going to want to read Harry Potter, and your 5th grader's not going to want to read Clifford the Big Red Dog. So they could split some of those resources for books. But then that got me to think of, well, what other resources are they going to be sharing? Special area teachers would now have to become traveling teachers, splitting time between their home school at Jefferson Street and, for example, your gym teacher right now, they teach at the elementary level. If you move half of the elementary school to Jefferson Street, they have to go with them too. They're going to spend half a day in one building and half a day in another building. They're going to have to do that with the art program. They're going to have to do with that with the music program. Some of the questions that I have, if you don't have allotments for additional faculty, or while that's not completely impossible, it is a scheduling hurdle, but is that something that you would want to be sustainable over a 4-year period or even longer? And would traveling teachers or traveling faculty have an impact on those programs? And my big question there is, I guess that really depends on how much you value those programs. A library is not just a room with books. It's an educational resource that's managed throughout the course of the day. Just to give you an example, when your science teacher goes to your librarian and says, I want to do a research project on mammals versus reptiles, can you pull books? The librarian does that in her spare time. Books don't make it on the shelves. If you have a huge number of kids pulling books and taking them out, librarians love parent volunteers to come in and shelve books. There's a whole library management aspect that goes along with that. That would be an instructor that she would now have to marry 2, or they would have to split those resources. The computers in their Marlboro labs, I believe in Marlboro they call it flight school. Does anybody know what they call it in Hereford?
Flight school.
Flight school? If you take half of your grade level in your computer lab, I don't know how many Hereford has, but I think Marlboro has 1, and you move half of those resources to accommodate for your 4th, 5th grade building, what are you going to do for those types? So those were some questions that started my mind thinking about shared resources. There's also a lot of special needs teachers who service multiple grade levels who'd have to split time. Your guidance counselor would be one of them. The gifted teacher, she already splits time between Marlboro and Hereford. She would now have to also see students at Jefferson Street as well. So, in summary, while the building project does solve some of the problems facing the district, it comes at a cost, and it's a cost that's not just measured in dollars and cents. The new building looks like it's going to require some sacrifices. Larger classroom sizes, traveling faculty, limited curricular growth are just some of them. And while the district will have a 21st century middle school, what's the plan to continue and advance the rest of the student body? There's more to a valuable education than just a great facility. So, some alternatives, oftentimes when you drive, you ever just think, what could we do different? So some of the things that I think about, well, a renovation project that would repurpose the middle school with a focus on science and technology. Now I took a look and see how much they actually planned on renovation. The renovation project was $32 million. And while I worked for the North Penn School District, I got to see quite a few renovation projects. And when they were finished with some of them, they looked like brand new buildings. And just out of curiosity the other night, I asked how much it cost to renovate Inglewood Elementary School, where I spent about 4 years in the facilities department. And they spent just under $20 million. Now granted, it's a different building. It's a little bit smaller and it's an elementary school. But the dramatic change from what they had to what they, from the beginning to the end, was significant. It looked beautiful. And the parents in the community were very pleased with that type of a project. Transform the administration into a kindergarten center now, creating space for both elementary schools while leasing space in the community. There's tons, most of you probably are aware of the open office space all over. The Old Hill Financial Bank is empty. I think there's 3 floors there. Our realtor, I wish he was still here, he could have probably told us. We can then develop a plan for a new admin somewhere. I'm sure a new administration building being much smaller and not having to add a cafeteria or a gymnasium could be way more cost-effective new building. And then when you do that, if you want to build a new admin, build it on the Montgomery Avenue lot. That you can plan to put a building back there somewhere. So that you make the changes and you think ahead and you say, we're going to make the road right. We're going to draw out a plan that puts this here, an admin, and a new building if we need it down the road there. It's a long-term process that something like this, smaller steps over a longer period of time, even if you spend the same amount of money. If you're in here to support the plan of a new middle school, thank you for coming. Our differences in opinions can be expressed through civil, meaningful conversation. I hope you leave here today with a better understanding of how some of your neighbors feel. While we have differences, it's important to remember that we are neighbors, and great neighbors make great communities. That's all I have. Anybody have any questions for me?